always good to have a CEO of a public company in studio, because that just tells you how impressive we are.
Exactly.
Because he's a NASDAQ company, he's a CEO, and when Mike beckons, they usually ignore. But if I step in there,
Mike Battaglia is the president and CEO. Blink Charging, ticker symbol is BLNK, making time for us today, coming all the way down from beautiful Orange County.
What is the state of the EV charging world these days? Because I'm afraid that I'm going to be caught on the Golden Gate Bridge after a bran muffin and a large cup of coffee and in traffic, and the thing dies. And I know Mike can get all the way to the AM/PM to get his reload of Red Bull and Funyuns.
Always.
But aren't you ever worried that you're going to run out of juice at all?
Yeah, I have taken it down to 1 mile on my battery, just for S's and giggles.
Wow.
But yeah, there's times you're pulling in going,
Now, isn't the problem the EV charging availability, or is it just because you're lazy SOB?
The latter.
Guys, I've even rolled into my garage.
By the way, but the problem is
into my garage.
when you roll in your garage, it sounds the same whether you have battery or not.
Yeah.
I mean, it's either way. There's no sputtering. There's no nothing. Talk about this, because you guys are the right place at the right time, obviously.
So let me tell you how I view the industry, and I think a lot of us at Blink view the industry, there is this conventional wisdom out there that if I have a battery electric car, I'm driving all over God's green earth, and I need to be charging between Nebraska and California.
Yeah, right.
The reality is there's 127 million households in the United States that have 2 or more vehicles. Think about if just one of those was an EV.
Yeah.
And what do we use our cars for 95% of the time, every single day? And it's going to the grocery store, it's going to work and back, etc. I have multiple cars in my household. One of them's an EV, 2 of them are internal combustion engine cars. Someday will they all be EV? Maybe, but it's not an all or nothing gig. It's a mixed powertrain.
Have we caught up? Has demand caught up with infrastructure, or vice versa? Has infrastructure caught up with demand?
Infrastructure is still catching up with demand.
Yeah.
So, and actually that's the opportunity for companies like Blink. So, we own and operate infrastructure,
right?
And there's still a gap in that demand, and we're building infrastructure into those gaps.
So talk about owning and operating fast charging assets, because I think that's what this business is all about. And I'll tell you, if there's ever going to be a best practices all across the board for motorcycles, for EV cars, no matter what the brand is, I think there's the opportunity, correct?
It is. Yeah. I mean, look, when you're a company, you have to ask yourself, what do investors want to invest in? And our perspective is investors don't want to invest in a company that's just transacting and selling hardware and things like that. So we have actually we've been in the business since 2009. We've been owning and operating infrastructure since then. We've pivoted our strategy a little bit to focus more heavily on DC fast charging, like you've mentioned. But that's really where the growth is. Americans want speed. They don't want to sit there for 3 hours. They want to get in and out off of a charge. And for us, again, we're looking for high density locations where people live, work, and play. They're there already. Charge up for 20 minutes and I'm off.
And as such, this is an acquisition model, right? This is a vertical integration model, because the way you do that is at least the most cost efficient way is just like your press release said the other day, in terms of Envoy technologies, right?
Yep.
Same. I mean, that's a game plan. Not only is it bolstering your balance sheet, but it's also executing the plan at the same time.
That's exactly right. But we talk about a couple of things at Blink, and we're believers in intense focus, and we want to concentrate on the core. We want to build the core. We want to do what we do best to the very best of our ability. The second thing we talk about is radical simplicity, and it's a concept that we ask ourselves with every single initiative that we're encountering. And we ask ourselves constantly, can this be simpler? Can it be simpler for us internally? Can it be simpler for the end user, for drivers that are charging on our charging stations? And we talk about making charging boring.
Sure.
That's actually what we want to do. I mean, when you go to the gas pump, it's not exciting, it's boring. And let's do the same thing with EV charging.
Sure.
Let's make it completely seamless and boring so people don't even have to think about it.
Yeah.
Mike Battaglia is the president CEO, Blink Charging, ticker symbol is BLNK. I will say, though, that I have a Tesla, sitting in my Tesla charging, I probably get most of the work that I need to get done sitting there on my iPad because I know that I'm going to be locked in for 20 or 25. Let's make the most.
And by work, he means DraftKings.
Working.
Clearing up.
Yeah.
No, but us being in California, I would assume that there aren't that many hurdles when you're saying, "Hey, we want to build a charging station. We want to put it, somewhere because of our, I guess, pro EV stance with."
Yeah, no. I mean, look,
or am I wrong there?
It's a commercial real estate play. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what it is.
Okay.
Commercial real estate owners are our best.
But also, look at you have strategic relationships with hundreds of properties, but this gives you tons of business models too.
It does.
Right? Is that accurate?
It is, and in fact, we really believe that we're probably the most creative company in the industry, and the reason why is because we do transact hardware. That's a good business for us, and the margins are good. At the same time, we own and operate infrastructure. We derive our repeat recurring revenue there, but it gives our sales teams the creativity to actually blend the two. So it doesn't have to be binary. When we sell a charging station to someone,
right,
it's not one and done. We can actually integrate revenue sharing models into that so that it makes sense for both the property owner and for Blink.
What's also interesting is that since we are in a sector that's still early, this is that type of picks and shovel story that investors really love. And really, as long as you're deploying,
Yep.
Without outside forces messing with you, I think that's the
look. It's a secular trend. We can debate how fast it's going to grow. We can debate, what percentage of EVs are going to be of a total of the U.S. auto industry. But one thing's for sure: this technology's here. It's not going anywhere. It's going to be a significant portion of the U.S. auto industry. What that percentage is, we'll see.
So my question would be this: look, obviously you're on the right track in terms of acquisition model and in terms of revenue model. Does this mean that you guys are actively consolidating the market, or is that happening already?
Well, that's a great question. First of all, we absolutely believe there's going to be consolidation in the industry. It's already happened.
And that's good for you.
It definitely, it's good for us. And the consolidation, though, is going to happen a couple of different ways. There are some companies that are out there that we watch, that we think are valuable, and if it makes sense and we have the resources to do, we'd love to go after them. On the other hand, there's going to be the weak hands, like any industry, the weak hands that just fall out. And there's going to be consolidation that way as well. So we think, over the next 24 months, you're going to see a lot of consolidation in this business, and that there's going to be a few men standing at the end.
I want you back in here because I think there's a lot longer interview than we have time for today. But I definitely want to talk to you more about this. What are you looking forward to most here for the rest of this year, and in as much as you can talk to us about as your public company?
Yeah.
But what are you personally looking forward to for the rest of this year? I mean, look, we're going into, believe it or not, I hate to say this, we're in the third quarter here in about 6 weeks.
Crazy. It's crazy
So,
every year.
But I mean, you have to look short term and long term. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So short term, we are intensely focused on being the very best company we can be. And we talk about the fact that there's not a press release that you can issue. There's not social media advertising that can get it done in terms of improving our market cap. We get it done through operating. We get it done through results. So our near-term focus is to be the most efficient, well-run EV infrastructure company in the industry, bar none. And we actually think we're getting close. We've done a ton of restructuring at the company, changes to right-size the business for today, not for where we think it's going to be in the future.
Yeah, I love it. You got to get back in here, pal. It's only a 40-minute drive, man. You can be here every day.
You can be here in a blink of an eye.
Hey.
Hello.
Wow, see what you did there?
Thank you. Mike Battaglia, President CEO, Blink Charging, ticker symbol BLNK. Speaking of blinking of an eye, we'll be back in the blinking of an eye. Keep it here.